G'day everyone, welcome back to episode 4. Me, Jimmy Williams, my good mate Aaron Black is here, and it has been a massive week in sport. The West Coast Eagles lose a heartbreaker to North Melbourne. We'll discuss a little bit about Jake Waterman's shot on goal kicking and also the very highly controversial 3-week suspension for Paul Curtis. There's a new king in New York City. His name is Jalen Brunson. We'll talk about him as the Knicks claimed the NBA championship, and the Socceroos stun the world at the World Cup over in the USA. There's so much to get through. Great to have your company as always, and we appreciate the support as we venture into episode 4. G'day, Blackie.
Hey, Jimmy. How good's this? I've got Knicks fever. Oh, dude.
I know exactly what that's from because I was thinking about this all day. I've got Knicks fever. Is it the Will Ferrell other guy's thing where he keeps getting the free tickets?
Yeah.
They're trying to bribe him?
Yeah, so good. So good. Oh, I do have Knicks fever, mate. That was wicked. It was pretty cool watch.
Yeah, how about, we will get to it, but just very briefly, before we will get stuck into it, in depth more later on in the episode, we will get to the NBA. But what I couldn't stop thinking about, Blackie, was if there's one place in the world I want to be right now, it's New York City and being with those fans. Yes, they were running riot and some of them were being a little bit stupid, but what it means to the league and the fans and the city, you could just see how the emotion boiled over in the streets.
Yeah, what a place to be at that time. And I saw like a image of like all the New York teams from all the different like supporter bases for the baseball and the NFL and NHL, and all those supporter bases sort of combine into the Knicks. So it's pretty cool to see how many people just love that team.
We will come back to the NBA a little bit later on in the episode, but we have to talk footy first. How did you go on the weekend? West Perth going down to East Fremantle.
Yeah, look, we're obviously pretty excited to be able to get out and play. We had the bye after our first win of the year, and we started like we'd had a week off, I think, which was a little bit disappointing. We probably set ourselves to have a pretty big day. East Fremantle, I think, were 5-5 to our 1-3 at 1-4 or something like that at quarter time, and that really set them up from there. And we were pretty good after quarter time, to be fair, and got it back to some manageable margins where we could potentially win it, but we just weren't able to sort of break that momentum barrier at times.
I know he spoke on a different podcast, but how's Kane Bevan been going since he missed out in that mid-season? I haven't had a chance to get to the footy club. I've been commentating some different games in the Waffle. I haven't got to West Perth in a few weeks. I haven't caught up with Kane. Would love to check in and see how he's going. Probably should have messaged him. I did before the mid-season draft, but I know he's a big fan of the show. How has he responded, like from a player perspective, like for him rebounding back on the park?
Yeah, it'd be good to check in on him, I reckon, after sending him one beforehand.
Kane.
Shout out to Kane. Look, as I expected he would, and I reckon most people who know him pretty well, he is a pretty clear-minded kid, and his focus is on getting the job done and being the best footballer he can potentially be, and that's kind of the way he approached it. I'm sure he would have had some emotions after it all happened, but it was straight back to business, and he's been performing so unbelievably well for us through the middle of the ground, having a lot of the footy and kicking goals and breaking lines and being damaging for us. So I have no doubt there'll be still potential down the line. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing, mate.
I had an interesting weekend.
You called the footy. What game did you call?
The Swan District's West Coast game. So first ever time West Coast have won at Bassendean as in their waffle alignment, and some really, really strong performances from Jack Williams was the player of the round. He won the Rixies.
So
he was in a resort somewhere doing a video that the waffle made him do, and they kindly plugged a little bit of my commentary. He was doing things I haven't seen him do before. So playing he is a key position forward, but he was selling candy and, getting ground balls, giving handballs to runners. Like he looks like he's taken a couple of big steps in his game.
If you're looking for a young commentator, get around Jimmy. There's some highlight packages out of you. It wasn't Jack Williams' highlight package; it was yours, mate.
No, it was Big Jack's. He had a good day. He had a really good day.
Yeah, and I look, I was under investigation a little bit myself for I think an off-ball incident. So I was having a look at some of the footage from some of the games.
Well, hang on. So what did you do?
Well, I was leading up at the footy and just happened to make contact with a player who was running back at me.
So it was a collision?
Yes, which they classify as rough conduct, I believe. So I got one early guilty down to reprimand.
Really?
Yeah, I was coming up at the footy. The footy was kicked at me. I've just tried to use players around me to get away from my opponent because I'm slow and old and they are a lot faster than me. And I just clipped I think one of the big fellas, I can't remember who it was, on the way through. So not something that I'm overly happy about either, to be honest with you, because I don't think there was much in it.
So he was bigger than you, whoever it was. Who came off second best?
Not me, mate. I don't come off second best very often, pal.
You are a clown. But
there was a fair bit to come from the game that you were at, and obviously there was there's a bit in the paper about Malachi Champion and some stuff happened with Sebi Brighton. You were there, mate. Tell us some more.
Well, it was fascinating. You're in a very old sort of box where you're commentating the game and you're wedged between the two coaches' boxes. And this was interesting. There was slamming of doors and you could hear people yelling. There was a whole lot of things going on. That was in the boxes. Out on the ground, what's happened is Malachi Champion has been accused of a bushman's blow. I don't know.
I saw that in the notes and thought, what is a bushman's blow?
Have you ever heard of this?
Never.
No. So he's been accused by Swan Districts and Seb Wright of effectively blowing his nose deliberately on Seb Wright, who has already been suspended. I think he might have got 2 down to 1 for striking Champion. And this was on all day, Blackie. Like Seb Wright, I'm pretty sure, had a roll on both Champion and Owies, and his role was don't let them win the game for West Coast. So they didn't. It was the other blokes that sort of did. But some of the stuff off the footy was pretty interesting, and I'm not surprised in the slightest that Bright got suspended. And we have to wait and see what's going to happen with Malachi Champion because he's on an AFLPA break. So the Eagles aren't obviously playing this week. He's an Eagles listed player. They have their break. They have a bye. So the Waffle Tribunal for his case won't be heard until next week.
This is not an off your chest segment, but that annoys me a little bit.
Which part?
Like, I understand they got the AFLPA thing, but from a player's perspective, I think he would want to know exactly what the suspension is because he's going to have to wait. Cool, he's in Bali sipping bintangs. Well, we don't know doing whatever, but
we don't know where he is.
Well, let's just assume he's in Bali having a few bintangs, but he could stay for a few extra weeks,
having a well-earned break.
Yeah, but I've got no issue with that. But if he,
so you're saying he should have dialed into the tribunal while he was on his break.
Well, he would want to. I'd imagine he would want to know because I know if I'm about to get 5 weeks for blowing a snot rocket on someone, I'm probably pretty keen to just get it out of the way and not have to think about it while I'm on my AFLPA break.
Or you're pretty keen to go to the tribunal and just say, "Hey, I didn't do that." Yeah. And be cleared, right? So that's what your point of view. That's what you're arguing.
I think so, yeah.
Because it's hanging over his head for a week.
Well, yeah, and he knows if he did it or not, but I think he's obviously going to try and get off. I would imagine.
It's going to be a fascinating case. So we've already seen that Seb Wright's been suspended from the Swan Districts. We'll see if Malachi Champion will, if they'll be able to prove whether or not he's guilty. But yeah, it was really chippy, Blackie. It was. I haven't experienced that in a while. You know, like it was really heated, really on. It seemed like two clubs who really don't like each other. You know, like the good old days. I was commentating the game with David Clear, and it felt like an old school game where, you know, there's things happening off the ball. There's wrestling. There's guys grabbing Guernseys. It was old fashioned.
We like a bit of old fashioned,
yeah,
and
love it.
By the sounds of it, in conversation with you, there was, and you just said there's a little bit of stuff happening up around the boxes, and you're obviously up around there. It's loud. The walls are paper thin.
The doors don't they don't really shut.
The doors don't close. The windows are open, so you can just hear what the coaches are talking about.
Well, there was a report that one of the Eagles coaches, I read this on social media somewhere, that Jacob Brennan, who's in the Eagles coaching staff for their Waffle team, apparently he went into the Swans box. Now, I don't know about that. That's very interesting. So, and I'm not sure how. I don't know too much about it because I was calling the game. So I've got my eyes on the game. I've got the binoculars up. But I did read the report on social media, and I dare say, I wouldn't have thought that any other Waffle team or Waffle senior coach would want an opposition member of the coaching staff bursting into their box.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. Actually, I've been up there with you when we called the Swan Districts and Peel Thunder game last year, so I know what it's like up there. You can hear a fair bit. So it wouldn't have been too hard to hear what the opposition coaches were saying, but the fact that the doors don't close and opposition coaches can go wherever they want to.
No, they do. They do shut. They're just old. It's just an old building. But thank you for the
Thanks for the update, mate. It will be interesting to see what comes of that. I don't know if anything will, but it'd be interesting to see.
Let's move on to the actual AFL game that was played, the actual West Coast ones against North Melbourne. An absolute heartbreaker, this. I thought West Coast were going to win. I know I tipped them last week. They got very close, and they've got some signs from some players coming through. And one of the big talking points out of this has been the goal kicking of Eagles spearhead Jake Waterman. Now, What do I have to say about it? I think he's just going through a little bit of a lull. I think he's been a star for that club for a very long period of time, and I'll come to you in a sec. But I just want to make the point that Jake Waterman isn't on his lonesome here. Now, this has happened in football, in the AFL and the VFL for a very long period of time. I remember being a young St Kilda supporter, seeing article after article and news story after news story when Nick Riewoldt was going through this while he was at St Kilda. We've seen it with Matthew Richardson. We've seen it with so many superstars of the AFL. I think the buy coming has come at the perfect time for Jake. He'll go away. He'll clear his head. And does it suck that the Eagles are losing? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's one moment in a game. And I love Nick Larkey getting to him post-game to tap him on the back and say, mate, like, it sucks, but he's going to be just fine. And he competes his guts out every week. So I wanted to get your opinion. You've played a little bit up forward. When you're having a rough couple of weeks in front of the sticks, what do you do, Blackie? Because some of the suggestions have been Jake needs to clear his head. Some of the suggestions have been he needs to change his technique. Like, his technique's been sensational for a long time. How do you approach it?
Yeah, well, he hasn't had an issue with his kicking at goal, especially obviously last year. But we've seen a lot of guys go to the around the corner stuff. More recently in the last however many years from spots right in front, just because there's more margin for error apparently, or something along the lines of that. Lucia's a great kick of the footy, and he has been for a long time. If you're having, I think he's had 111 shots on goal this year or something like that.
Really?
I think I very briefly saw that, and I reckon we can fact check that, and that's pretty close. If you're having that many shots on goal, you're going to miss your share. You're not guaranteed to kick them all. He's also, if not their hardest working player, and he has been for a very long time. If you look at the work he does off ball, his running patterns, he probably covers as much distance as any other player on their side. It's not easy to, make a long lead, repeat efforts, mark the footy in a contested situation, go back and then kick one. I know they're paid to do it, but that doesn't make it any easier. It's much harder than it was back in the old days, where you stand in the goal square, you make 130-metre lead, you mark it, you turn around, you kick it back that way, and that was your job. And that's not taken away from what those blokes did, but
it's a different game now.
We're running a lot more, and he doesn't shy away from that part of the game.
And on top of that, he's been the number one man at West Coast for a while, and he's had to wait since Josh Kennedy left for Jobe Shanahan to come through, for Cooper Duff-Tytler to come through. He's put this forward line on his back for a really long time. So I think if there's one player in this team that you can give a little bit of leeway to, it's Jake Waterman.
Yeah, and look, you can't complain with having 5 shots on goal, 6, 7 shots on goal every single week. Mate, I said I've got the kick and yip, so I missed one from 30 out on the weekend, and I've only had 2 shots on goal this year. So I don't think it's an easy thing to get over if you are thinking about it. It's not as easy as just clearing your mind.
One of the big talking points to come from this game, Blackie, was the 3-game ban for Paul Curtis. He laid a huge tackle on Hamish Davis, who was concussed and ruled out of the game. North Melbourne have opted not to challenge it. It's been the fallout that's been the story. Jai Simpkin, Paul Curtis's teammate, jumped on social media and wanted to get some clarity from the AFL, who politely told Jai, you're going to need to delete your social media post and we don't have to explain anything to you. But I'm left a little bit confused here because Billy Frampton wasn't suspended and Brody Myercheck broke his neck. Yeah, the tackles are a little different, but if we're talking about a duty of care to a player, so Billy didn't really show duty of care to Brody Myercheck, and Paul Curtis doesn't really show any duty of care to Hamish Davis, but did he mean to do it? Absolutely, I don't think so. And North Melbourne and a lot of general football people are upset about this because what I think will happen now from this incident is as the season continues to go on and games get they mean a little bit more and 4-point games become 8-point games and that kind of thing, I think we're going to see more people accidentally get suspended. So 3 weeks for a pretty normal tackle where a guy gets his arms pinned. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating from a player's perspective. From my point of view, I watched the Paul Curtis thing today. I like to try and keep myself out of the loop for this, but I watched it today and he doesn't sling him, he doesn't put any extra force in it. He kind of just grabs him, ball pops out, they go to ground together, and that's it. And if we're going to start punishing players based on the end result, then there are going to be a lot of players getting suspended for not a whole lot, and there are going to be players who are getting not suspended for things that are way worse than what we've seen. So Frampton gets off for a broken neck. You're saying that
he didn't mean to break his neck.
No, he didn't mean to. But then if you're going to do it based on
duty of care
and the end result, which they have done for the Paul Curtis thing, then you're gonna have to suspend Billy Frampton, aren't you? That would make sense.
Well, the difference is in the colour of the stripe on the Guernsey. Some people think the black stripe versus the blue stripe. I think that's what's pissed a lot of people off.
You think people don't like the Magpies? Or no, sorry, you think people love the Magpies? Is that?
Well, some people are suggesting that depending on what club you play for, it depends on what ban you get. So
interesting.
And North Melbourne didn't want to challenge it. But let me put it to you. What is Paul Curtis meant to do? How are you coached?
Wait, so North Melbourne didn't challenge it?
No.
But Collingwood did. So why wouldn't they? Because it doesn't necessarily make it worse if you don't.
North Melbourne didn't challenge it based on the legal advice they got is that, Paul Curtis won't get off from this.
Yeah.
Which is a little confusing because Collingwood were able to fight successfully to get Billy Frampton off. Now, but again, I do want to say that they are different tackles. Billy's was like a DDT, and this was. But I think that's what frustrates me. I'll get to UNICEF, obviously, but what frustrates me is that Paul Curtis has laid a genuinely great tackle. Billy Frampton's one's a little bit more awkward and a little bit weird.
I feel like that would display less duty of care because he gave him a DDT.
Well, that's why I want to ask you. How are the players taught? How are you taught to tackle now? Because for me, Paul Curtis has executed the way that I would think that a player would tackle. It's just unfortunate that Hamish Davis got concussed.
Correct. And I guess momentum and the direction of the way players are moving and Billy Frampton and Myercheck, they were front on. I guess Myercheck ducks a little bit, which makes it quite awkward.
That is a big factor, isn't it? Yeah.
The person through.
But it's a 3-week ban, Blackie.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I do think it's stupid because you're really limiting us for what we can do. You can't bump anymore. You can't tackle perfectly. Apparently,
you can bump. A couple of the Saints players did it on the weekend, but you do open yourself up.
You open yourself up to get
to the
trouble.
risk. Yeah.
Yeah, and West Perth small forward and power packet. Keegan Knott got a 1-week suspension for choosing to bump instead of pick up the footy.
Any danger?
So you can't do that either.
Why didn't you bring that up at the start of the show when we were talking about West Perth, or was this earlier in the season?
No. Well, it was this weekend, but
why didn't you tell me?
Well, we were talking about me.
Poor Keegs. We're talking about West Perth.
Yeah, well, that's fair. No, well. Now we're into suspensions and we're talking about things that's relevant.
So just quickly on Keegan Knott then. Keegs, great man. The Wiz, what happened? Did he get he's elected to bump and got the opponent high?
And run over the ball. And he got 2 down to 1.
So he's gone past the ball, bumped, got him high.
Yep.
Did the player
played on, was okay.
Really? And it was still 2 down to 1.
Yep.
Again, that's
But again, if they're trying to eliminate, we're just looking at it holistically. If you're trying to bump instead of tackle. They're trying to remove the bump in a way. So if you try and do that, the punishment technically should be worse, which it isn't, which is great. It's fabulous for us. You know, it's a 1 week suspension. But Curtis has tried to tackle, and so's Frampton. I think they're one at worst for both, essentially, based on duty of care.
We're going around in circles.
We
here.
are, but it's...
Welcome back to the MRO podcast with Jimmy and Blackie, where we try and determine what's happening in the waffle and the AFL MRO circles. It is quite confusing. It really is. We will leave it there and we will move on. I got an interesting message from somebody today, big fan of the podcast, Blackie, who wanted me to get our thoughts, both you and I, if I just pull it up here on my phone. So shout out to Peter who's got involved. He had a question for us. What do we think of the WA conspiracy theorists, or what do we think of the free kick differential table for 2026? I'm not sure if he's having a crack at you and me, or if he's asking if the Eagles and Dockers are getting more free kicks than other teams. But we'll do our best to answer.
Yeah, well,
Have you got the table in front of you?
At the end of the day, does it really matter? Is it supposed to be even? It's like
it's not. No, I'm massive on this. It is never meant to be even.
That's what I mean. So why does it matter? Because it's just the way it lands. It's like the free throw count in the NBA.
Well, fans get upset. Fans get upset because
it should be even.
Well, they think that they're. Come on, you're a footy fan. You're a footy player. People get upset when they think that their team has been hard done by.
Yeah, but if the only demonstration of hard done by is the fact that they have more frees for, then you've got a problem. If you're choosing to whinge and whine about free kicks for and against, and that's an issue, I think you got bigger things to worry about because your team might suck.
I'm going to fact check this after we get off air and make sure I've got the right one. But quick 2026 Google search after round 14 has the Saints at the top of the differential chart with a plus 41 difference. Geelong a second, Sydney a third, Richmond a fourth with plus 35, 31 and 19. The Eagles and Dockers, the Eagles are 11th with a minus 6 differential. Fremantle are 15th with a minus 16 differential, which is...
Does that mean they have more frees for than against? Is that what that means? Differential mean...
Well, a minus 16 means they've given away
more.
16 more free kicks than they've received. So 241 versus 225 for Fremantle.
It obviously doesn't really impact the size. Fremantle is the best side in the comp.
At the moment they are.
Oh, yeah.
Last on the table is the Giants with a differential of minus 52. That's because they have come off they've already had their bye, so they're a game behind some of these clubs. And then Gold Coast, you made a little funny little screw face there. Gold Coast are at negative 33, so 222 received, 255 given away. Which, what's your immediate thoughts to that?
Well, that's why I screwed my face up. I just think it's, I don't know. We're clutching it. You're clutching at straws. You don't think it's going to impact.
Well, don't tell me. Tell Peter.
Well, Peter, don't tackle poorly. Firstly, number one, okay. Don't kick it out of bounds deliberately or inside the 50 arc so it goes out of bounds. The other team gets the footy. Don't hold when you're not supposed to hold. Just do the right thing.
So as a player, these don't. When you're reviewing a game, these don't. The free kicks, the free kick counts don't come up, do they?
Never crosses the first to 50th slide of whatever we're watching ever.
Yeah. No,
maybe 50 meter penalties. Maybe in terms of discipline. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate Peter getting involved.
Yeah, Peter, send him in every week. So give us something to talk about every week,
give us
Peter.
a different research project next week, Pete. So thanks for getting involved today. But it does beautifully lead me to what I really wanted to talk about. I don't want to get it off my chest. We'll save that for a little bit later in the pod. But the reason that this is fascinating is I think the AFL let themselves down this week, Blackie. I think they had a chance to stamp out some of the behaviour from Gold Coast coach Damien Hardwick, who basically suggested after last week's loss to Geelong that the crowd does have a heavy influence on the decisions that umpires are making in the game. He put this on the agenda in his post-match press conference, where he basically said that Geelong's home ground is like a Roman Colosseum where the fans go, yeah or nah. And it's unbelievable that he did that. And the AFL had a chance to say, hey, Dimmer, we're going to fine you. And they didn't. They just warned him. I thought it was... And he's got form too. Damon Hardwick's complained a lot. Complained about having to travel to Marvel Stadium when he was the Richmond coach from the MCG. You know, that's 15 minutes around the corner. He's got a lot of form.
Where? Whinge, Dimmer. Whinge.
I think he needs to lift.
Yeah. The AFL should have done something. If they're going to tell Jai Simpkin to remove his post, then you got to do something about that too. But it's not had any. I don't think it does. If the umpires are that influenced by people and not going to make their own decisions, then they're the wrong people for the job.
Well, Geelong won the game by 45 points, so it wouldn't have mattered what the free kick count was.
So you're telling me Dimmer reckons they were really good that day and they should have won?
I don't think that's. Well, I think he's.
You set a precedence for your playing group too by whinging about that in your presser and not putting ownership back on them for being dog poo. That's what I think anyway. How many premierships he won as a coach?
Well, he's won a couple at Richmond. And
what do I know?
The free kick count, just because I've dug it up anyway, 24-20. That's enough about free kicks and that.
It was horrendous though.
A different. Well, I don't think it was horrendous, but I think he was
24-20.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he was insinuating. I think he was. I don't know what I think he was just deflecting, but he did it in a way that shone light on the umpires being poor, which I think was, if he had his time again, he wouldn't do that, and he won't do it again now because he's been warned.
Has he?
Yeah, he got warned. He won't do it. You'd hope so, but this isn't the first time I reckon someone's been warned and then
you've been warned. He'll do it again.
So there you go. Aaron Black says. Good time to. We have to quickly touch on this. It is the game of the round. This will hopefully drop. It'll probably drop Wednesday night, maybe Thursday morning, but I reckon Wednesday night we'll get this out. Game of the round. Fremantle will go on black. They're on stealth mode.
As he be. Aaron Black. Let's go. Stealth mode Freo.
Have you seen the Guernsey?
They've worn them before.
Blackout one? They have, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
They wore it at Gather Round.
They're cool.
So they're going to black out Perth Stadium. They're playing against Geelong, the only team that they haven't beat this year. And well done to Alex Pearce, who's been a phenomenal player at that footy club for a long time, skipper with a milestone. Going to be this is the game of the round.
Absolutely. We're tipping, aren't we?
Yeah. I just had to. It feels like I haven't spoken much about Fremantle. Like they're on top of the ladder. They're coming off the bye.
I'll tip them the same as I did last time we tipped them, and I'll say Fremantle will win. They won't lose.
There you go.
They haven't lost a game since they played Geelong last time, haven't they?
Correct. In either opening round or round one.
Unbelievable.
Whichever one it was.
They'll win.
There you go. Confidence.
What do you think?
Picking Geelong.
Although I laughed at you when you tipped St Kilda last week and they won too. So,
and when I picked Brisbane to bounce back against the Gold Coast 2 weeks ago. Friday night's game, Blackie, is the Suns and the Hawks at People First Stadium. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but the Hawks are the Suns are the Hawks' bogey team. So the Hawks struggle against the Suns, but if you're going on form, Hawthorn are going a little bit better. Who are you picking?
I'm going to go Gold Coast based on your method of picking them to bounce back after the last week. So I think they'll win. I'm
with you as well. I think it'll be a good game. It won't be match of the round because that's here on Thursday night. Saturday between Adelaide and Melbourne at Adelaide. We haven't even spoke about your boys this week. The big Cosy Pickett.
My favourite player, mate.
Baggy pants, absolutely flying. He's got the triple XL shorts. He's probably the best player in the comp now.
I think so. I would love to talk about that at some stage, but I think he is.
Oh, we can get to it later.
Yeah, I tried to play like him on the weekend. I kicked 0-1, and only had 15. But
so that means you're picking.
I'll go. Absolutely, I'm taking Melbourne.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm different. I think Adelaide will continue to bounce back. They were really good last week, and it is in Adelaide.
And they arguably have the best captain in the comp. So I mean, I think that'll be a very good game too.
If we had another 30, 45 minutes, we could talk more about some more footy stuff, and hopefully that will come down the track with a few people getting behind us.
Yeah.
But you're obviously inferring Jordan Dawson there.
Yeah.
He has absolutely put the cape on. He's a freak. One of the best players in the game at the moment. Giants and Carlton.
Maybe Blues, mate.
Yeah, this is a
Let's
shocker.
go. Yeah, it is a rubbish game. I'll go the Blues just because.
It's in Sydney. It's in Western Sydney.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a great part of the world, isn't it? No.
Never been.
I'm I've been once.
Never been.
Won't go back.
In a hurry.
Not in a hurry. I might end up back there.
Who's winning?
I'm
Sorry?
but sorry.
Your boys, Carlton?
Yeah, sure.
Giants, because they got close to St Kilda last week, and I think...
Neither of us will watch it, so next one.
Well, you'll be playing, and I'll be calling. You'll be playing, and I'll be calling, so we won't.
Are you calling our game?
That. Who are you playing?
South for a
Nah, not doing Peel. Peel playing
down there.
Yeah, down there.
Damn.
Collingwood and Port, Lucky. At the G.
At the G, Collingwood.
Oh,
Play Sam Swaddling though.
Gee, they've been super. Port Adelaide.
Have they?
They've been bloody super.
Okay. Play Sam Swaddling.
He's got to be close, doesn't he?
Oh, just play the kid.
Did you say that down the? Did you say that down the lens? Did you,
Mr. McRae? Play Sam Swaddling. Do it.
Let's find out about him. Love the young fella. Sunday's games. There's only a couple, and there's some frustration again that these aren't. That these are overlapping. Briefly, Richmond and North Melbourne. This is a shocker too. This is a shocking game of footy. There's some fizzes this week.
Yeah.
You're not rushing to the couch to watch that.
Fizzes. Good drink. Fizzes, aren't they?
Get on with it.
I'm sorry. North Melbourne will win, mate.
They have to.
They have. You'd think so.
Have to.
Yeah.
There's going to be some real noise on where they're going if they... And they should have lost last week.
Actually.
And I'm not saying that because of Jake's miss. Like, they shouldn't have won the game. Like, they got really lucky.
A few boys caught partying a little too...
Yeah, we didn't even get to that.
No,
yeah.
we didn't. That's okay. But
we've got time, and I'm glad you raised it because I brought this to the attention of the punters on the Jimmy and Blackie podcast early doors when I said it's not usual you see guys having a beer after a game. Now, it was GWS and Brent Daniels. They've obviously won. So let's put this to bed once and for all then, okay? Because what you're saying is if you win, you can have a beer. But if you get done by 124 points, you can't go out on the town in Bunbury.
Yeah.
That's what Zach Fisher and the other bloke did.
where are you going in Bunbury anyway? I don't know. But
you're asking the
no,
wrong
you
person.
can't. You back pike, drink when you like is an old racing saying, Jim. And I think if you win, go for it. And if you lose by 124,
so what would okay? So what were they meant to do though? What were they meant to do? So go home, go to the hotel, and just do nothing.
Well, I've got no issue. Well, from all reports that they're pretty lenient, aren't they? Clarko's like, yep, go for it. But you've got to be back within reason. And they've obviously not been back within reason. And I think there's a fair window. If not, go sit in the hotel room and have 50 cans on your own.
That sounds boring.
But, well.
You can't just sit there. Well, are you saying they should have?
Yeah.
Together.
They probably needed to sit together and reflect, mate.
Have some E&E.
Yeah.
Last game of the round, Blackie is the Saints and the Dogs for round 15.
I can't keep going against the Saints, mate. Because I keep going against them and they win. And you back them because you love them. So I'll go Saints.
I think they're starting to.
They have to.
They're finally starting to get it together, I think, a little bit. And if they are to be any better than a wildcard team, I said this last week, they have to win this game. It's 10th versus 8th. Yep. Lots of noise out of the Bulldogs camp this week with Tim English's future and Adam Treloar playing 30 minutes. Just quickly, in brief, like when a guy is, playing, not playing, so they're sitting on the bench for 30 plus minutes, that's not a good sign.
No, it's
when you're
not.
A veteran.
It's not great. It's probably not great. It's definitely not great for him either. He's obviously not performing well, but he's the kind of guy who probably could get his hands on the footy, 12 times in a quarter quite easily. He's done it heaps of times before. So, I don't know. He obviously wasn't doing something that they wanted, and they kept him off. I don't know if you'd put him back on, just leave him on the pine, tell him you're done. If he's not a chance to get back in the side, which he may not be.
It sounds like the end is pretty close, unfortunately. He's been an absolute warrior. GWS Collingwood to the Western Bulldog. Great person too. Adam Treloar was one of my favourite players that's not a St Kilda player to watch. Just seems like a fantastic fella. But yeah, just unfortunately, the end comes around for everyone. That's enough footy, Blackie. We have to get to this. We have to move on to. It's been a huge week. We've got a new NBA champion, the New York Knicks. Now, Jalen Brunson, he put this team on his back. Our man Branchy told us that by the theory out of the Epstein files that it was going to be the Knicks and it was going to be Brunson, and it was. Question without notice for you. Right now, is Jalen Brunson the best player in the world?
No. But no, I don't think he is. But he's very bloody good. And you know what? Credit to him because the Dallas offered him, 3-year, $50 million deal and his management said no. They wanted 150, damn, 150 mil. And they backed him in to get it and be the player that he is. And he's arguably the most clutch player. I don't know who won the most clutch player of the year, if it was him. Might have been. He's arguably, they were down in every game of the series, double digits, and they found a way to win, and he obviously leads them very well. They found some sort of recipe to put past college teammates who are mates back together and just create that, that energy and the vibe that is necessary to win, and they were able to do it. It's pretty cool.
Brunson, I saw this photo. Brunson, Josh Hart,
and Bridges.
They're all from the same college or same high school.
They're all from Villanova.
Right, and they all got back together, and now they're all NBA champions. That's a remarkable story.
Yeah, and DiVincenzo was there as well, but they obviously had to get rid of him to get Cat in that deal, which to be able to get that back together and recognise that their relationship and their ability to play a role together will have a positive impact somewhere, and it's obviously a winning formula. And Mike Brown, obviously, good coaching pedigree, did heaps of work with Steve Kerr, coached them well enough in that sort of moment to win. It was pretty cool, and the scenes out in New York, like we said at the start of the show, are absolutely insane and crazy.
People
and
everywhere,
going nuts, bonkers,
as they should be.
Yeah,
within reason. Did you see the video of the they're calling him the Spurs final boss? Did you see the video of the bloke? There's one guy,
the big fella,
wearing the San Antonio Spurs, and there's like 2,000 Knicks fans around him, and he's just fighting them all off.
Throwing hands.
It was crazy.
Throwing his weight around. I did see it. I don't know why you'd bother.
It was pretty disappointing to see that, but I mean,
it's what it's like over there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's people everywhere. Do we need to talk about Victor Wembanyama? Do we need to raise any concerns over?
No, he's a kid.
They're
all kids.
He's going to get back.
Yeah, they were led. If Fox is one of their leaders, they were led poorly by him. There was he's their leader and he's 22 years old. I think you expect that, and they were just out-led and out-won, obviously. But they put themselves in positions to win often, regularly. Like I said, up double digits in every game during the series is not something to be disappointed about. Be disappointed to see how you finish those games, which is probably the issue.
This is pretty low-hanging fruit, but I want to ask because I genuinely am curious what you think. Do you think that all of the Spurs players should have stayed on the court and shook hands with the Knicks players?
Yeah, not really.
Or is it a mountain out of a molehill, is it?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there's that much to read into. I've got no issue.
So Jalen Brunson, seconds count down, clock expires. Jalen Brunson is seen walking to Mitch Johnson, the Spurs coach, to shake hands. I don't know who else he got to. I know Luke Cornett, the Spurs player, stayed out and tried to shake hands with probably his direct opponents, I think, in Mitch Robinson and Ariel Hook-Porty and whoever else was playing at the 4 and the 5. But it's a bit different to the culture of footy, isn't it? Like, Victor couldn't have got off the court quicker. Like, he was out. He bounced.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And there have been plenty series where that's happened and blokes have just gone away. There's the Isaiah Thomas and MJ thing they did back in Yonks, if you've seen The Last Dance or you were there, you were watching it. I don't know. I mean, personally, I'm probably celebrating anyway, and that might sound bad, but if you just won a championship, some people will go over and see the opposition and the coaches and say, well done, thank you. Others celebrate. I guarantee you there were heaps of Knicks guys that didn't even think about the Spurs players, not even.
Yeah.
So,
they're just so the ecstasy and the elation is something that we just will never experience in our life. But let me ask you, you win the 2022 flag, you shake hands with all of the Claremont boys, shake your hand? Most of them, all of them? Try to?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Is that because of the elation?
Well, yeah, but yeah. And there was like, everyone ran onto the field at Leederville, which was kind of a cool experience because it doesn't really happen anymore anywhere.
So you genuinely can't remember if any of them tried to come up, which I'm not blaming them.
I do think, and I was captain of the club at the time, but going over to them once we'd all settled down and were in front of the thing and congratulating a few, or shaking hands with a few of the players, I definitely remember that, but like not initially because you don't really think about it. And I guarantee you, once they get behind closed doors, they probably do it there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised because I know that they're able to access each other through the tunnels underneath and that kind of thing. So
you do make a very good point that there were thousands of people that stormed Leederville Oval. So
that's an issue.
Certainly wasn't having a crack at the Claremont boys. So I just want to put that on the record. Wrapping up the NBA chat, Blackie. It looks like there's going to be some moves. So
this is the fun part.
We could be here for a while, but we are running out of time. We'll keep it short and sharp. I've got two players I want to ask you about. First is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's not going to play at Milwaukee next year, I don't think.
Now, fake or real, 72 hours someone posted before he'll be a Boston Celtic. So, they have the pieces to be able to do it. Whether or not the Tatum Brown thing works, I think it does, but maybe they won't win again with him there. Maybe Jaylen Brown wants more minutes. I would go and get Giannis because he's a freak, the Greek one.
Can Boston get this done?
Yeah.
While keeping Jaylen Brown?
No, they can't. You have to include Jaylen Brown. I don't know if they have I don't know that much in detail, but I don't think they have the assets, draft pick wise, to be able to go and get him.
And if Giannis teams up with Jason Tatum, where does this duo rank in some of the duos you've seen in the modern era?
Oh, it'll be right up there. Absolutely. They both. You talk about needing the ball in your hands, but they can both play. Giannis can play 1 through 5, and Jason Tatum can play 1 through 4. So they're pretty interchangeable through there. It's right up there with some of the best we've seen, probably. And
I'm not sure how much you're across this one, but I do have to ask because he's my favourite player, apart from LeBron James. Well, I should say he's my second favourite player.
LeBron James.
Ja Morant. Pew, pew. Where do you think he's going? Do you think he's staying in Memphis, or do you think they're going to find a lot of jungle drums are beating that his time in Memphis is done? Where do you see him ending up? I think one of the teams I've seen thrown up is Chicago, which for me kind of doesn't really make all that much sense given they've got Josh Giddey and they've already done some heavy trading in the past couple of years to shift guys out, like Kobe White who got shifted out. Could a Josh Giddey, Ja Morant combo work?
Potentially it could, but I don't necessarily see him getting it done either. Minnesota's come up too.
That would be cool.
That would be fun.
Him and Ant.
Him and Ant would be fun. I'm not sure how they're going to go away from the court, but that'll definitely be a fun locker room.
He needs someone to keep him on the straight and narrow.
I would be surprised if he's in Memphis, like you said. So we'll stick with that, and we'll do some more due diligence and find out where he ends up.
I would have liked to have seen them move on him earlier.
They probably should have, yeah. And he had 52 weeks sitting on his dupper.
Yeah, they should have done it earlier. Yeah. Anyway, we are getting toward the end of the podcast. Thanks for bearing with us here on episode 4. There is so much to get through that we're going to miss, but we do need to get to the remarkable story of the week, and that is the Socceroos getting the job done 2-0 over Turkey. Nestori Irankundu, what a phenomenal performance.
What a name. Well done.
He is. This is a star in the making if he's not already a superstar. He was incredible, and we shouldn't be surprised. This was a guy that played high-level football as a 15 or a 16-year-old. He was loaned to one of the big clubs overseas. I'm not going to claim to be a soccer expert, but I was so thrilled to watch him play and perform, given some of the noise being made in the US media about how the Socceroos are making up the numbers.
Yeah, and we had a good chat about that. Some people in the US who are not big fans and taking credit for the Socceroos' performance is pretty funny.
Were you watching the game? I think he's only like 19 or 20
years old.
Still
only 19? It's pretty cool. Imagine being at the World Cup at 20 years old, and scoring a goal like that. I did watch it. I know very little about soccer.
He's
the
20.
soccer
He's
world.
20.
He's 20. I know very little about the soccer world. What I do know is after they scored, gee whiz, we parked the bus. And any of the FIFA players out there will know what park the bus is. I don't know what the buttons are now. It's been a while, but
After he scored, or you mean when we went 2-0 up? Is that what you mean?
we parked the bus after we scored the first one too. I think we loaded up the box and
We spoke about the media coverage of it, but it wasn't just the media coverage. It was the Turkey captain who, after they lost, came out and doubled down and said, "We're still better than them." Well, you didn't win. It was bizarre. Like, it was weird, strange thing to do.
yeah. I mean, it's a strange thing to do. I've had this argument before though, but which is funny because I'm not saying I'm sticking up for the Turkey guy, but I've said, I think we were better, but we lost. But I've said that before. So.
This is the fascinating thing I find with the World Cup, and as much as I love it and it's a worldwide event, from an Australian point of view, this is where we failed to capitalise, I think, on those golden years all the way. Like Tim Cahill, Marco Bresciano, Marco Viduka, all these guys that we had, and I think there's just such a disconnect, and I'd love to see it bridged. So you see those scenes of the people in Fed Square in Melbourne, there's thousands of people getting excited and supporting the Socceroos, but it just doesn't translate to the lower levels, and that's because a lot of these guys are playing overseas, so we don't see them in our backyard, and that's just Football Australia has just got to work out a way to, make us feel
a little more connected to the people.
Yeah, correct. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch every 4 years, but building the momentum and then getting junior participation up and then keeping some of these players in Australia. If they're any good, it's impossible, isn't it? Because they're getting millions of dollars, millions of euros, millions, more than millions.
And you're not getting that here playing for the Perth Glory. Respectfully, if I'm gonna get a big bag of money, I'm gonna go elsewhere.
It's always been the challenge. I think it's always been the challenge
Absolutely.
for Football Australia. But I'm looking forward to. Gee, the lid will be well and truly off Sunday morning if we roll the host nation, the States. If we get,
wish it was Sunday morning. I might have actually watched it. 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, isn't it?
Oh, is it Saturday morning?
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Don't know. Hang on.
Can you check?
Yeah.
Check for the listeners, mate.
Hang on.
I
want to get that right.
I'm pretty confident it's early Saturday morning.
3 a.m. Saturday morning, is it?
I hope so.
You were right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
so
guys.
I won't be up watching it.
Why not? No, you can't. You got to be preparing for your game.
I'll be sleepy.
Yes. 3 a.m. Matchbox 20. Yeah, that's an early. That's an early slot.
Yeah, it's not for me. I did it. I've done it once years ago. Went to the cast to watch a game at 3 a.m. I won't be doing it again. Sorry, guys.
We are just about finished episode 4. Gee, we've been rolling. Thank you for staying with us. We're finally getting to your segment, Blackie. Now, before we get to what you've got, I didn't get heaps of feedback, which is disappointing from the team on our Facebook page this week. But I did get one that I promised that I would read out. Long time listener. This is from we're 4 episodes.
4 weeks. Long time.
Love it. It is a long time. Long time listener. This is from Brad. Public apology from Aaron regarding the Knickerbockers. Please, also, what's your favourite version of dodgeball?
This is to Bradley Maney. I know exactly who sent that. This is a public apology for the New York Knickerbockers. Look, I've got to stand on the 4-2 Spurs thing because I said it, but I was absolutely thrilled that the Knicks won, and it's a pretty cool story what Jalen Brunson was able to do with all the haters after he signed in New York. So there's your public apology, King. And I'll say conspiracy is my favourite version of dodgeball for all the people out there who are interested in any form of dodgeball. Thanks.
How many versions of dodgeball are there? How many versions have you played or ran?
Well, there's probably 3 well-known ones. And if you add obstacles in between, you could make it another one if you wanted to. But we don't have to go into that, mate.
Do you know the 5 Ds of dodge? Can you do them? Go on, do
them. No one watches.
Do you know what they are?
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. There you go. Kaboom! Oh,
dodge.
Nothing better than being a phys ed teacher at a school playing dodgeball.
Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. One of the great films. What do you want to get off of your chest, Blackie? If you do have one for next week, episode 5, next week. Make sure you get it in. Leave us a comment on our Spotify channel, or you can direct message us. We will endeavour to get it onto the show. In fact, we will get it on the show. For anybody that gets involved, leave it for Blackie. I don't really have one. I've had a pretty quiet week.
Did you?
I mean, I've got one, but I want to hear yours first.
Yeah, I could go. Mate, I could go so many different ways with this. Funnily enough, being a teacher, but I actually am going to go. Can I go a positive route? This is something that I thought was really cool that I wanted to share that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Not a negative one.
Yeah.
A little bit different. I was watching the end of the World Cup from the Japanese game, and you know what I think's really, really
saw this.
cool?
I saw this.
But I've noticed they do it everywhere.
The Japanese people.
Yeah, the people and the players.
You're talking
The
about
way in which they leave where they've been, the environment, the stadium, and the change rooms. So the Japanese players tidy up the change rooms, fold towels, rubbish in bins, immaculate. And then the Japanese fans with plastic bags, picking up rubbish, walking around the stadium.
I did see this.
I just think, and granted, I'm not the tidiest human being in the world, but that's something that we as people should aspire to do and be respectful for the environment and the stuff that
we have an organisation.
That is
we have Keep Australia Beautiful, don't we?
Yeah.
But this is. Have you been to Japan?
I haven't. No.
I didn't think you had.
No. But
it is mind blowing how amazing it is, and there's funny videos of people who make skits and stuff like that. The funny thing is so there's two parts to this. The first part is highly recommend, by the way, if you're looking for a trip. Japan is incredible. But the two parts, Blackie, is they don't walk and eat. So if you go into one of those amazing little like family marts and buy something, you're expected to sit and stop and eat, or so it's. I remember the first day I got there, I got off the plane, I was starving. I'm a big bloke, obviously, but
eating and walking, Jim.
Yeah, and I was like, why is nobody else? I was like, I honestly didn't know until I met the person who was running the tour that you're not supposed to do that, like by their culture. And then the other thing, I didn't notice it at first, but you notice it when you notice it. The streets are just beautiful. There's no rubbish. You don't see, they've got designated smoking areas and you don't even see the people smoking. And then you see those scenes where they go to other countries and they still uphold those standards.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I just thought, like, I could have gone, I could be a psycho and I could say something. There's plenty of things that bothered me this week. Plenty of late bus pickups that have really frustrated the living crap out of me this week. But I just thought that was something that, like, it's cool to talk about, and it probably gets glossed over a fair bit because being a player and being in the change rooms post-game, like, you have people who are volunteers at our level who do that kind of stuff, and you almost take it for granted. You leave stuff everywhere, you tape, that kind of thing.
Your water bottles.
Yeah, and if you endeavour to be a good club and create good culture, that's probably a big part of it. I thought that was pretty wholesome, pretty cool thing to see at that level, that's what they're doing. There's
always one bloke who leaves a pair of undies or a pair of socks or a pair of boots. Is that you?
Yeah. I'm out of forgetfulness, not necessarily out of being a bit of a idiot.
There can't be that many things in your footy bag.
No, there's not a whole lot. But yeah, that's all I had to get off my chest this week. I wanted it to be a bit more of a positive one this week. If I can, I would love some more because Jimmy gets them sent to him, and I don't actually know what's getting read out. So you can have a little bit of fun if you really want to. If you've listened to now, get something off your chest, leave it with Jimmy. He'll read it to me, and then I'll try and see what I think about what you think.
Time has flown by. There's so much that we probably didn't get to. It's been one of the biggest weeks in sport that I can remember. Thank you for being involved with us so far today. Good luck to you on the weekend. You've slapped your head.
Oh no! Kardashian curse isn't real either because Lewis Hamilton won his first race.
Didn't even get to it.
Yeah, we didn't. But the Kardashian curse can't be real because he's broken it. If so, anyway, move on. Sorry, mate.
You're okay.
I had to get that off There you go. I had to get that off my chest as well. It's not real.
Good luck to you on the weekend. As we edge ever closer to your big 300th. South Fremantle down in Freo. So good luck with that. I've got Peel and East Perth who are playing down in Mandurah, and the other game of the week is Subiaco and East Fremantle. Anything else from you?
That's it, mate. Nothing from me. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.